Welcome back to The Rosy Romantic. I'm Bree, and today we're going to talk about The Summer I Turned Pretty, Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Also, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. So grab your drinks, grab your snacks, and let's chat. Just to let you know, there will be spoilers for Episodes 1 and 2 for Season 3, so let's jump right in. How did these first two episodes have more drama than in the third book? I read the third book recently, and I'm not get too much into it because I don't want to spoil anything. So if you have read the book or have not read the book, don't worry. I'm not going to put any too much of these book spoilers in here. But we are going to talk book that was referenced, okay? This book right here. Yeah, we will talk about that.
Whoa, just rewind and freeze.
And let's just get started right from the beginning with episode 1 titled Last Season, which I think this is titled Last Season because, okay, spoiler alert. Okay, if you haven't seen the episode, okay, just to let you know, this is a spoiler, that this is the last season of their relationship. Okay, so it seems between Jeremiah and Belly because of what Jeremiah did in Cabo with Lacey.
Why?
I just didn't know that alongside that we would have the Steven and Taylor stuff. Why are they not good?
Not cool. This was supposed to be about friendship.
Who is on good terms? That would be Jeremiah and Belly. Like, she runs up to him, like we saw in the trailer. They do the, the bachelor hug, or do they do that on Love Island? I haven't seen much of Love Island, but do they do like the run up and jump hug? Anyway, so they're all good. Belly's moving in. And then we do a time jump. Okay. So they're getting me ready, they're preparing me of what's gonna happen. And I know a little bit from what's in the book, and they did stay true to that. But you do see Jeremiah and Belly together. So all seems well and good. We're like, okay, Belly and Jeremiah got together. Again, they've been getting together for a while. So we've had, they've had their relationship for 4 years now. Then we see Conrad. And Conrad is at Stanford. And he is pre-med. He's going to therapy. Conrad, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you for going to therapy, because you all know I'm not Team Conrad, I'm not Team Jeremiah, I'm Team Save the Brotherhood.
I think I've made my feelings clear.
So he's going to therapy, everything's good. And then we head over to a season 1 Isabella flashback. Because he's like, what? We were thinking about cousins, what makes you think of cousins, the therapist is saying. And we're like, okay, so Conrad is still thinking about Belly.
I beg your pardon?
Conrad is saying, like, Belly's the one for me. She's the one for me. Okay. But, I know you're in love, with her, but at least somebody, you gave nobody a chance, Conrad? No one? Really? I think that would have brought for greater drama. Anyway, okay, that's just me. Because if Conrad brought someone back to cousins, and then Belly was like, no, who was she? Who was that over there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just give me a little bit more fun drama, okay, to the season than Steven and Taylor cheating. Okay, we're gonna get to that.
Disgraceful.
Did we ever get to see Mia? We get to see the other guy that Taylor's with. What is his name? Davis. We get to see him. I don't think we get to see Mia. Which, as the audience, you're just like, oh, really focused on Steven and Taylor. But no, they're clearly in the wrong. They are so in the wrong for this.
Clap if you care. All right, let's move on.
Belly. I like how they added that she's going to study abroad in Paris. It's a little bit changed up from, different from the book, what she's studying, but it makes sense because she's been studying French. She read, the Hunger Games in French, all these things. And I'm glad that we have a major for her. She's in, I think, sports medicine. We don't get one for Jeremiah though. You know, that's unfortunate. It just, you know, we'll talk about his, you know, graduation problem soon, but why does Jeremiah not get a major? Everybody else get major. Does Taylor get a major? I don't think so either. Why'd she get one? They have one, we just don't know what it is. Then we find out that Jeremiah needed extra classes to graduate. No. What happens? We see it happen semesters where you take another semester to graduate, no problem. But Jeremiah's taking it really hard because he wants to pick up his cap and gown and he couldn't. And he feels like a failure. But I'm like, no honey, you just need an extra semester. It's fine. You're gonna graduate. Be proud of yourself. You're putting in that work, honey, like, you know. And people are getting on Steven, has the nerve to get on him. After Steven's cheating, he's like, oh, I went to Princeton, and I have this internship, but I'm cheating on someone because I'm disregarding their feelings because, oh, I love Taylor. This man.
Good boy, son.
Anyway, we see Conrad back at Stanford. And I tried making these Twizzlers into straws. I was really unsuccessful. But
What's happening?
maybe not the best. This wasn't my best idea.
Somebody give me a chair.
What was I saying? Oh yes, Conrad. Conrad, we see him at Stanford. I mean, he's hand-fiving, he's happy because of probably the work that he's doing and the therapy and all those things. And I'm just really proud of him. I'm really proud. I'm also proud of Jeremiah as well, okay? I don't need y'all to be pitting the, you know, the brothers against each other. Like, oh, Jeremiah, and then Conrad, you know, oh. And then he's getting that from his dad. Like, I know what he did. We're gonna talk about, you know, the cheating thing coming up. But y'all are really hard on this character, okay? And I'm not gonna stand for it. I'm not Team Jeremiah, I'm not Team Conrad. Okay, again, I'm Team Save the Brotherhood.
No fighting!
And then we got to the part that upset me, but I was glad that they showed, was Jeremiah talking with his dad on the phone. He, you know, put it on a speaker. And basically telling his dad that, you know, I have to stay there another semester. Of course, he was going to be upset. But the way the father talks to him, saying, you know, I know I got to spend all this money, blah, blah, blah. First of all, last time I checked, sir, you had 2 houses, okay? You had the cousin's house, okay? Then you had your house in Boston, okay? Aren't you rich, sir? Like, or was Susanna rich? I don't know how this works.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about.
So Jeremiah and Conrad are having this conversation where Jeremiah is sharing with him that this whole graduation problem and how their dad isn't really proud of him. Conrad's very supportive of Jeremiah, saying that it's okay if you have another semester, you're graduating, you know, I'm proud of you, all those things, very, you know, encouraging. And it's also very sweet because Jeremiah was encouraging of Conrad going to Stanford and knew how much that meant to him and wanting to go pre-med. They're so sweet. And Jeremiah goes, I miss you. I was like younger brother to older brother, and then Conrad's face is just like, oh, like it took it right to heart, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do the drama of the rest of the season.
Wait, are you crying?
Yes.
So before we get into the messy drama, let's talk about Conrad at Stanford with Agnes. Which I thought they were gonna show a little something of their relationship, but y'all, they had no chemistry whatsoever. They're like, oh, we tried, you know, once today. I'm like, yeah, y'all did?
Somebody give me a chair.
But anyway, she's inquiring about his love life. Has he been in love? He says, you know, Belly, that, you know, we saw in the trailer. And then we see him reminiscing, well, sadly reminiscing at the point where he's seeing Jeremiah and Belly together, and he has to keep his emotions in because, like, he loves her, but he's never said it to her.
You
I know I'm
had
also-
her,
Why would you have to?
then you got her, then you blew it, then
Who are
you
you
got her.
clarifying this for?
Meanwhile, we have Belly and Jeremiah go to a frat party. And then finally Belly, tells Jeremiah that she wants to go on the study abroad in Paris. He's very happy for her. I'm like, oh, things are going well. But I know, it's about to go down. So we do see Lacey, and which, you know, I know this is like a small detail in the book, but Lacey's supposed to have a little bob. Okay, she's supposed to have a little bob, and that kind of connects with that line where Jeremiah's like, don't cut your hair. So I don't understand why Lacey has like long, kind of flowing hair. I was like, where's the bob?
You were all thinking it.
Anyway, I know it's in the small details, but then Lacey, you know, is, you know, yapping about, and she's like, I was with Jeremiah and Cabo. I'm like, this girl gets on my nerves because she's like, oh, since I can have Jeremiah, I'm gonna brag that I was with him, and you know, I'm gonna say it, you know, right where everybody can hear, because she's not like, oh, I was with Jeremiah and Cabo. It's more like, I was with Jeremiah and Cabo. I want everybody to know.
Not only is she trouble, but she fights with everyone.
Then Belly, of course, hears that. Okay, that's not a whisper. So when she hears that, and then she confronts Jeremiah. Now, we have to think about this here. This happened like a couple years ago. So Jeremiah's been holding on this for quite a while. Now, this is why this is a big problem, because it's a problem, okay, in the first place, of him not confronting her, telling her. But it's an even bigger problem because you kept it a secret for all this long. And he was gonna tell her, but then he got scared. He was like, oh no, what if I lose Belly? I'm like, be honest, Jeremiah. Just be honest, be truthful.
I mean, I literally can't make it any clearer.
Now, was she right in, you know, voicing her anger and animosity? Yes. Was she right to slap him? No. Because just like with Jeremiah, we saw in the trailers doing that to Conrad, punching him. Like, no, okay, we don't hit people. We don't do that. Even though they're like, oh, it's so dramatic. Like, she's like, no, we don't do that. You don't lay hands on people. So, Belly, of course, is not taking this well. Nobody would take this well. And she runs off into the night, and we're like, oh, Belly girl, you going through it. But we do find out that she's been keeping a secret herself.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Ooh, 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 Belly.
What are you doing? You are so weird. Can you ever just leave the room like a normal person?
So that brings us to episode 2, and that is titled Last Christmas. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. We start with the Cabo fight. Okay, I've been waiting to see this fight because the way in the book, this is where I knew Belle, she crossed the line.
What are you talking about?
So Jeremiah says, sorry that I'm not some straight A overachiever going to medical school like Conrad. Belly says, please don't put your inferiority complex on me. Jeremiah, I wonder where that came from. Belly, well, it didn't start with me, so maybe you should look at your dad.
Oh, here it goes.
Okay, what? Now that to me, Belly crossed the line, okay? I can see why Jeremiah was so upset. Not enough so that way he could, you know, avoid communicating and, you know, be drunk in Cabo and then get with Lacey. Like, no. But why, when you know you have a history with his brother Conrad, you've been with his brother, okay? And then she said she wasn't gonna hurt him because he's like, I can't take that. But what you're doing with your words, Belly, you are hurting him, okay? And I know couples in a fight will try to, you know, throw darts at one another. But this particular one, Belly, because they are brothers, you brought it to the nth degree.
Now, come on now.
But they're both in the wrong. Jeremiah and Belly, this is just a mess. Now, where he really messed up was that stupid bracelet he brought back from Mexico. I said,
I'm losing it.
and then we have Taylor trying to see Belly. But I'm like, Taylor, you're one to top because, you know, you're cheating right now. And she's like, oh, well, it really doesn't count for me because, you know, I can't deal with emotions. I'm not taking any of that.
I'm hearing this, and I want to hear this.
Yeah, Taylor, I'm not hearing any of that because what you're doing is really wrong. What you and Steven are doing is just, it's horrible. Like, it's making the love triangle seem minuscule to this. I'm like, what are you doing? You're hurting these people? And you're telling them like all the sweet nothings that, you know, into their ear, like, you know, hey, whatever. And then going behind their backs. Like, I used to like them. I really did. I'm disappointed. But Taylor says to Jeremiah, because he's trying to, I guess, go up to see Belly, or he's just like around campus and he's like really sad. But Taylor says to him, you're supposed to be the ideal. You're supposed to deserve her, but you don't. And you probably never did.
Don't ever speak to me like that again.
You should never have anyone, you know, put on a pedestal. That is wrong in relationships. You're supposed to be the ideal. Same thing with the Materialist movie. You're putting people on a pedestal. Stop doing that. They're just human. Now, do humans make mistakes? Yeah. Should they own up for their mistakes? Yes. And actions have consequences. But if y'all need to stop putting people on pedestals, okay? Because they are just human.
She's got a point.
So, moving on. We see Belly and Annika. She finally gets her out of the dorm. She's like, girl, we gotta keep moving. Like, you going to Paris. Like, I know you're sad, but you can take the picture sad, girl. We going to Paris.
Whatever he is, we will be charm itself. We will present ourselves with grace and poise.
So Belly's rocking around campus and she's reminiscing about Jeremiah. And they're having all like these cute moments that we're seeing. But she's like, I can't really dwell too much on it because of what Jeremiah did to me. And then she's talking to Annika. Annika, I like her. I like her as a friend for Belly. Taylor, not right now. Move over there.
Have some self-respect.
Because she's giving good advice. She's saying that even though Jeremiah, you know, messed up, that she would be, you know, really mad and upset. But she's more upset at the fact that he hid it, okay, than him doing that. Because she's like, technically, you guys were on a break, okay, or actually, yeah, broken up for real. So that's what it, you know, meant to him. You can't see it within your eyes, okay, and then communicate. You got to communicate to see, you know, what happens. But then that causes Belly to think about again what she's been hiding. And Miss Isabella, what have you been hiding? A Christmas with Conrad.
As I live and breathe.
Christmas with Conrad. I wasn't prepared for the scene to be so cute. But then I was also upset with the scene being so cute because then she's been emotionally cheating on Jeremiah.
Ooh, no she did not.
Before we get to the cute and conflicting time with Conrad, let's head over to Steven and Taylor because they're fighting. Okay, they're fighting because Steven wants to make it known that he broke up with Mia. Finally, he took a stand. He's, you know, saying how he's feeling. Now, I'm still upset with him, okay? He had bad behavior, okay, but he's not a bad person.
By the way, you're not a bad person, but this is very bad behavior. Very bad behavior.
Steven makes it known to Taylor, but Taylor's still scared because she really loves Steven, but she's like, you know what, I don't want to get my heart broken, that he breaks my heart, I can't handle it, so get me out of this car. Get me out of this car right now. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. If you're fighting with someone, okay, if you're all having a fight in the car, you don't drive angry. What you do, you pull over. You go to a parking lot, you go to Walmart, you go to somewhere, you go to Walgreens, CVS, I don't know.
But the words are coming out of my mouth faster than I can think of them.
Bring it home. Now.
I just want to let you know, okay? You slow down and pull over that car, okay? And you're not driving angry. Because then Steven is saying, Taylor, get out of the car. He's like, no, the love of my life. Like, she's going. And he decides to pull out on the road, does not see the oncoming car, and there's a car accident. And he ends up having, they said, like a brain contusion, which is like, they said it's a brain bruise, and he has like a cracked rib, which I'm like, phew. I'm like, either this could be really, really bad, Steven. So I'm like, look, I want you to make sure that you're driving not angry.
Yes, that sounds correct.
Okay.
Now we get to Christmas and Cousins with Conrad. This, again, is both cute and conflicting, because I'm like, isn't she supposed to be with Jeremiah? Isn't she supposed to be with Jeremiah? And when she's there, she's getting to talk with Conrad. It's been a while, but they're spending time together because, you know, Belly's there on her own. She thought no one else was there, but then Conrad comes to stay there because his flight got delayed, and he's only supposed to stay there a while and then come to see his brother and his father, but he stays there for a little while longer. I wonder why that might be.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
So first seeing Conrad was like, oh hey man, I haven't seen you in a while. But then it gets a little messy when Belly is trying to race down the stairs, and she, you know, hooks on the banister and she falls because she's trying to see if Conrad had left without saying goodbye. And sure enough, Conrad is there. She's on the floor and she's like, oh, you know, I'm hurt, so I don't want to get up. But he sits, he lays beside her, and they're just being cute. I was like, oh goodness. I said, no. I said, Belly, you're with Jeremiah.
You in danger, girl.
And they're having all these cute moments. He's doing the crossword, and she's watching like old movies. Like, it's really cute. And I'm like, I'm not falling for this all the way, okay? Because I told myself, no Team Conrad, no Team Jeremiah. It's Team Save the Brotherhood, because it's gonna be messy, it's gonna be conflicting. But when they watched Casablanca together, I was like, oh no. No. This is a mess. It was cute, but this is a mess. After Belly gets that phone call from Jeremiah, the very next day, Conrad's like, I'm out of here. Which I don't blame him. And I don't blame him one bit. But Belly's like, oh, he left. That's what he does. He always leaves. I'm like, girl, give it a break.
I don't wish to make a big deal of it, so please limit your reactions to 1 second. Go.
What in the world?
That's plenty.
But Conrad leaves a note. It says, Merry Christmas, Belly. It was good seeing you. See. That's very nice. That's very nice. But he puts it on the crossword puzzle.
How did it start? It was that. See, that's a funny story.
So one of the crosswords hasn't been filled out, and it says, novel by author Jenny Han. P.S. I still blank you. Why does that sound so familiar? Why does that sound so familiar? And I'm like, how should I fill in the blank? Love. I'm like, okay, so I'm not gonna spoil part of that, you know, of this book here, okay? But I'm gonna tell you, okay, this book and this book connect. They connect now. They connect because now the writers have made it connect. And in P.S. I Still Love You, we have Laura Jean being conflicted between two love interests. So that means Belly has read all these books.
Worlds are colliding!
What do you mean the two worlds are colliding? The two worlds are colliding. This is wild. But yeah, she is still in love with Conrad.
You are obviously still so in love with me.
Obviously.
And also she is in love with Jeremiah. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And lastly, we get an update that Steven is okay, finally, because I was like, I don't know. know this story, the way it's unfolding, I have no clue what's gonna happen next. And because of all of that drama and all the emotions are heightened, that Jeremiah proposes to Belly after they've reconciled, and they have this beautiful moment with all these flowers and trees around, and it's like representing new growth of their relationship, which I thought was really cute. And I know the whole, you know, cheating thing, everything that happened, but I liked how they added in it happened after Steven's accident, because everything's like heightened, and you're thinking about Steven and, you know, life and everything, and Susanna. Like, you can understand why Belly and Jeremiah make the decisions that they do. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you thought of these 2 episodes? Would you have theories for episode 3? Because we're definitely going to talk about that. And I hope you have a comfy and cozy rest of your day. Bye.